Introducing in the blue corner, fighting out of Miami, Florida, weighing 218½ pounds, with a professional record of 30 wins, 4 defeats, 1 draw, and 23 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the challenger, Trevor, the young buffalo, Berbick. And in the red corner, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, weighing 222¾ pounds. His professional record consists of 26 wins, no defeats, 1 draw, with 21 KOs. He is the undefeated WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Pinklon Thomas.
Let's go. Trevor Berbick is one of the few heavyweights ever to come out of the Caribbean.
Your instruction in your dressing room. I want to caution you right now, obey my commands at all times. When I say break, stop punching, but protecting yourself at all times, and step back. Is there any question? Shake hands, good luck to both of you.
Berbick isn't as otherworldly as another Caribbean, Livingston Bramble, but he could be his Secretary of State, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he thinks of himself. In fact, we talked about entertainment value, and he really thinks of himself as an entertainer. He wants to provide a good show for the folks here. Now, whether he just kind of throws caution away and says, I want to make this a good show and not win the fight, I think is really a factor. Round 1. Berbick said he was going to come right after him. Thomas says he'll knock him out in 6 rounds. So let's see who's right, if either.
Look at the left hand of Pinklon Thomas. First round is right by his side. So it appeared to me he's not too impressed with the punching power of Trevor Berbick.
And you see Berbick coming from the outside in with his punches.
Berbick's style, he goes inside and he has a tendency to punch with the inside of his gloves, which takes away the effectiveness of his punches.
I should point out also that historically Pinklon Thomas starts rather slowly. Mike Weaver actually had him a little bit befuddled for about the first 4 or 5 rounds until Thomas got in gear and finally knocked him out with a devastating right hand.
Pinklon Thomas, he has a very debilitating left jab. Very effective, very strong left jab. Larry Holmes is a very consistent left jab. But the power behind the jab of Pinklon Thomas is awesome.
There was some question as to whether or not Pinklon Thomas would throw that right hand often enough in this fight, and you saw him already come up over the top with one.
Pinklon Thomas, quite lackadaisical at the present time. Just taking his time and like a nonchalant attitude. He's blocking those shots thrown by Berbick. Catching a lot of Berbick's punches are being caught in the gloves of Pinklon Thomas.
Still the first round. 2 well-conditioned athletes. In fact, Berbick looks as fit as I've seen him look.
Well, with Berbick, his body's deceiving because he's naturally a well-built man. And it's difficult to tell whether or not he's in shape. But I'm sure, knowing his opposition, he trained very hard for this fight.
One thing that is interesting is both these fighters are athletes of another caliber. Thomas was a track man and a football player. And Berbick was also a track man, javelin thrower.
Berbick brought in Kid Gavilan, who's also known for his bolo punch. The right hand to the body to the head. And he's very impressed with having Kid Gavilan in his corner. Hopefully we get a chance to see Berbick throw that bolo punch.
Interesting to see what effect the dropping of the left hand of Thomas has, because it's down at below his glove line, or rather his belt line.
It's as though he's trying to lure Berbick in, because I tell you, Pinklon Thomas has a very good right hand, and he proved that by stopping Mike Weaver.
Well, I tell you, those are some tough jabs that Thomas is throwing on Berbick. We're coming your way in stereo. You might be able to hear those punches. They are really solid punches.
That was a sizing up round primarily for Thomas until the very end. Berbick was the busier fighter, I thought, through most of the round, and I gave him that round.
As soon as you grab, you move it. Don't get chance to retaliate. Stick it and move it. Get out of his damn distance.
You're waiting too long. There you see the number of jabs thrown in the first round, according to PunchStat.
Make him go each day, honey. Make him find you. Just like a jab.
And Berbick's numbers.
On that eye.
Eddie Futch in Berbick's corner. Berbick has always had a disorganized corner. He tried to organize it for this fight.
Okay.
Eddie Futch, incidentally, we spoke with him, said that he noticed something that Pinklon Thomas does, that when he throws the right, he feels that Berbick can counter by coming over the top with a left hook. Now we'll see if Futch's strategy works here. 3-punch combination by Berbick.
You see what I mean, Barry, by saying that Berbick punches with the inside of his gloves instead of pronating that glove, turning it over. He'd be more effective. And as strong as he is, he'll be able to put a lot of guys away with those punches, with that power. Pinklon Thomas, on the other hand, he stands straight up, and very good body movement that he has, upper body movement. Good chin, good solid chin. He's been hit by some of the best in the business.
Both fighters landing with some consistency. Neither seems to be particularly bothered by the other.
Now Berbick's talking to Pinklon Thomas. In fact, he had mentioned to me that he thinks that Pinklon Thomas, well, he knows rather, that Pinklon Thomas has a habit of thumbing his fighters because he punches like a karate expert.
That time, though, he was taunting him. He said, come on, try it again. Left jab, very consistent and very quick. It's interesting that he starts that jab at the top of his trunks and it's still that quick, Ray.
Well, you notice the consistency. Good right hand.
Big right hand.
Consistency of the left jab of Pinklon Thomas. And the right hand is starting to get through. Now, Berbick needs to bring his left hand up to block some of those shots. He's taking those punches unnecessarily. Now he's starting to bring his hands up, and it's a major difference. Now you notice, Barry, the punches are not landing as cleanly as they were earlier.
That jab just right on the button thrown by Pinklon Thomas.
Pinklon Thomas' jab just stops you in your tracks. There's so much power behind his jab. Puts his entire body behind it. Good snap.
And a right hand at the top of the head.
Good right hand.
Thomas very effective so far.
Punching it out, punching it out.
That voice you're hearing in the ring, that of referee Richard Steele.
The left hook of Berbick was able to get through. Didn't do too much damage. A couple left hooks of Thomas is starting to get through.
That was a good round for the champion. If you are what you eat, as Trevor Berbick claims, he must be a saddlebag because he ate a lot of leather in that round.
You're still waiting on him. You can't let him lead off like that to you.
Three up here. You gotta get down.
There's the right hand. Direct over right hand and then a shorter right hand by Thomas. He didn't have leverage on the second one. There you see the punches from another angle. He was a little flat-footed. But already you can see the damage he's done on Berbick's left eye. That's from the right hand.
And in fact, they were using that even after the first round, so they're very concerned with the swelling on the face of Trevor Berbick. He's not really apparently marked.
Pinklon Thomas seems to be a very composed man. And even, knowing him and talking with him, the fact that he does so many things outside of boxing, sings and manages other fighters, manages himself, negotiates his own deals. There's a lot of things on his mind at the present time, but apparently he's sticking to his priorities, trying to defeat Trevor Berbick.
Yeah, he has an interesting attitude. He says, if I can be a good boxer, I can be a good actor, I can be a good singer. One just carries over into the other.
I like it because he also has a good sense of humor, about life, especially from his background.
Didn't start fighting till he was 20. As we mentioned earlier, Berbick didn't start till he was 23.
These guys are natural athletes. They can pretty much do whatever they want to do, from football to basketball, but they decided upon boxing.
Another good right hand by Pinklon Thomas. And it was set up by 3 jabs.
The reason that jab was working beautiful. The reason that Pinklon is able to catch Berbick with the right hand is because his left jab, the left jab of Pinklon Thomas, just stops you in your tracks. And by stopping you, he's able to land with the right hand.
He's just not missing too many punches either. Almost every punch he throws is scoring. Even in close, as you can see right now.
I like Pinklon Thomas on the outside, using that long, stiff, powerful left jab. Inside, this is Berbick's fight. He likes to rough it up inside. I prefer to see Pinklon Thomas on the outside, throwing the left jab, doubling with the left jab, setting his man up. Just beat him to the punch. I hear he's deciding to challenge the power, the physical strength of Trevor Berbick.
As you can see, even inside, Thomas scores with just about every punch he throws.
I noticed that Pinklon, as he stops punching, he races up, and he's susceptible to a left hook. So all Berbick needs to do is go to the body with his right hand and come back up with the left hook. There, you notice that the right hand drops from Pinklon Thomas. You notice, there it is again.
Don't push him, don't push him.
Little bit of swelling actually under the left eye of Pinklon Thomas, not in an area that it could really do him much damage, but just a little bit of swelling actually up on the cheek. And of course he did threaten on his right eye, and a good left hook, as you mentioned, Ray, by Berbick.
I think Berbick moved in on Thomas about a third of the way into that round because he was tired of eating that heavy jab.
Right.
Okay, man.
So you hold the water. Ask yourself. Give me one.
Give me the ice.
Give me this one. Good. Hold on.
Good, you won this round, Dave. This motherfucker, I'm telling you, he's up for everything. He keeps coming at you. Now, send an overhand right. He's a sucker for that.
Move around the mother.
Yeah, okay.
Going into it before.
When you come into the body, okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's put them together.
Right hand lead and then come back with your double and triple hook, okay?
Okay.
Make him fire you, baby.
You can see why Berbick is such a troubling fighter.